Christmas is coming up, which means I am binging the Harry Potter films again, and it got me thinking about all the different Christmases that Harry spends at Hogwarts and throughout the Harry Potter series. He has his first Christmas where he's surprised to have presents, and he has his Christmas with Sirius at Grimmauld Place, and all the others too. So I thought I would look at every Christmas Harry spends through the series and rank them from best Christmas to worst Christmas. So Harry's first Christmas at Hogwarts is so wholesome when you think about how significant it is. Like, I know he spends one Christmas with James and Lily before they die, but he's about 6 months old, so there's no way he'll remember that. Which means his first Christmas at Hogwarts is basically his first Christmas without the Dursleys. And it's his first Christmas where he is surrounded by people who love him. He is amazed that he gets Christmas presents. And like actual thoughtful presents as well, like his Weasley jumper from Molly, who at this point he's basically never met but for asking how to get through the barrier. Like getting that handmade jumper from Molly when he's used to getting the things the Dursleys got him, like a 50p piece or a used toothpick or old socks. Not quite the same feeling. This is probably the first Christmas where Harry is actually happy and excited and experiences joy. The feast is obviously going to be spectacular for him as well. Like, this Christmas is so significant because he gets his first heirloom from his parents, the invisibility cloak, and because of that, he's able to sneak around the corridors, which lead him to the Mirror of Erised. Now, the mirror obviously isn't necessarily good. I'm pretty sure Dumbledore says that it has literally driven people mad, but when Harry first finds it and looks into it, he sees his parents staring back at him. And that was probably the first time Harry had ever seen his parents. Like, until that point, he probably didn't know what they looked like. At the end of the Philosopher's Stone, Hagrid gives Harry a photo album full of pictures of James and Lily, and Harry is so moved he can't speak. Plus, the Dursleys hated the Potters, so there's no way Harry had pictures of his parents growing up. And considering they died when he was 1, there's no way he would remember their faces. So imagine growing up not knowing what your parents actually look like, and then seeing them staring back at you for the first time. That's not a bad Christmas gift for an orphan. Probably. I don't know. I haven't been in that situation. Either way, pretty great Christmas. He doesn't really have any Voldemort-related stresses going on at this point either, so does it get any better? I don't think so. This is going to be Christmas number 1, the best Harry has. In Harry's second year, Christmas Day starts largely the same as in the Philosopher's Stone, in that Harry wakes up to his friends and a bunch of presents. It's not quite as sentimental as the first year. Presents and being with people he cares about isn't new for him anymore. He's already done that. Doesn't mean he enjoys it any less, but it's less significant, right? But there is, of course, the looming pressure of the very against-the-rules Polyjuice potion that they're brewing, and the fact that they're going to be drugging 2 students and stealing their identities later that evening. And when they do it to question Malfoy, and it sort of goes nowhere. They spend Christmas evening breaking the rules, maybe committing some crimes, and chasing a dead lead, thinking Malfoy was the heir to the throne of Slytherin. It's not a throne, just the heir of Slytherin. They think it's Malfoy, they find out it wasn't, so what a waste of Christmas evening that was, plus they end up seeing their other best friend Hermione getting stuck as a cat. So not the best Christmas. I think it's going to be 4th place across the series. Now, the first 2 Christmases that Harry spends at Hogwarts at least start with festive fun and cheer, but the Christmas section in The Prisoner of Azkaban starts with the description: Christmas spirit was definitely thin on the ground in the Gryffindor common room that morning. So not the most festive or cheerful of Christmas mornings. And why is that? Well, the day before they found out that Buckbeak was going to have a trial to see if he'd be put to death, which doesn't scream festive cheer. And though they woke up to a bunch of presents, Hermione and Ron continued to bicker about Scabbers and Crookshanks. Plus, this is literally just a matter of days after Harry found out that his parents had been betrayed by their apparent best friend Sirius Black, which led to their death. It's just not the best lead up to Christmas. That said, he does get a firebolt on Christmas morning, the greatest broom money can buy. Although only a few hours later, Hermione snitches to Professor McGonagall that it was suspiciously coming from an unnamed gifter, and knowing a serial killer is after them, Professor McGonagall confiscates it the very same day he received it before he'd even had a go on it. So, you know, all the positivity is sort of cancelled out by that. All of that, plus they had to have Christmas dinner with Snape. It's pretty low as Christmases go at Hogwarts for Harry. We're going to put it in 5th place. Being woken up on Christmas morning by Dobby's face staring at you from this distance not the most peaceful way to wake up Christmas morning. But on the plus side, Hogwarts, Christmas morning in Harry's 4th year, it's full. When most years, most students go home, because of the Triwizard festivities, everyone stayed at Hogwarts this year. Meaning that Harry had a morning full of presents and he got to hang around with whomever he wanted, and I bet the festive feeling was so high and so exciting. And of course, that evening was the Yule Ball. Harry had a date, something he'd been worried about for weeks before the ball. Granted, it wasn't Cho like he wanted, but at least he wasn't the only champion going to the ball alone. That said, Harry does mostly seem miserable through the Yule Ball. But look, I'm not going to let Harry's lack of enthusiasm or festive spirit derail how great this Christmas must have been. Like, this was supposed to be ranking Harry's Christmases and how much he likes them, but I'm biased about this one, okay? It just sounds so fun. Like, a wide range of cultural Christmas traditions that must have been going on around the castle from the students and faculty at Beauxbatons and Durmstrang. The atmosphere must have been incredible. Plus, they booked the Weird Sisters for the Yule Ball, and apparently they're a really popular wizarding band. It'd be like having Taylor Swift or One Direction play your school Christmas prom. So I bet the party into the night was amazing. This was a great Christmas, and not letting Harry moping around ruin it. Second place. Christmas in the Order of the Phoenix is a bittersweet one. On the one hand, it's Harry's first and only Christmas that he spends with Sirius at Grimmauld Place. Now, I know Harry has spent Christmas with the Dursleys, which are a family of sorts, and the Weasleys, who are like the perfect found family, but Sirius feels different. Spending a Christmas at Grimmauld Place, somewhere James Potter probably visited frequently to see his best friend, and spending it there with the Weasleys and Sirius and Lupin comes by, it has all the makings for the best, most wholesome Christmas Harry ever has. Probably the closest to what Christmas with his actual parents would have felt like. But, and there's a big but, there is the fact that Arthur almost died, and that's hanging over their heads all Christmas. It's a bit of a Debbie Downer, isn't it? That said, Mr. Weasley was in good spirits. He had a Christmas dinner in hospital, some presents, his family come and visit him. He's very excited that he got to try the Muggle healing procedure of stitches, even though they didn't work. And then, of course, they go to the hospital, they have run-ins with Lockhart, Neville's parents. And I don't think they would necessarily have left a negative impact on Harry's day, but they're not exactly cheery experiences. Seeing Lockhart, however much he deserved it, being unable to write his own name, and knowing it's partially because you forced him to go into the Chamber of Secrets when he was going to run away, maybe there's a touch of guilt in there. And I'm sure there was some sadness for Neville and his parents as well. So there are good things and there are bad things about this Christmas, and with all of that in mind, it's pretty middle of the park. Spending a large part of it in hospital probably puts a bit of a dampener on things, but Sirius feeling festive, being surrounded by people he loved, I think it's going to go in third place. So Christmas in The Half-Blood Prince is not the longest chapter. Now, Harry spends it at the Burrow with the Weasleys, which is largely similar in vibes to the Christmas the year before at Grimmauld Place, though with the notable absence of the now dead Sirius Black, which is a bit of a shame. But also, Arthur isn't in St Mungo's this year, meaning they don't have to spend most of the day at the hospital, so it all sort of evens out. And unlike in the film, the book doesn't have the burning of the Burrow either. Bellatrix and Greyback don't just randomly visit the Weasleys' home at Christmas and try burning it down for literally no reason, so that's nice. There is, however, a very frosty visit from Percy Weasley, who has basically disowned his family, and the new Minister for Magic, Rufus Scrimgeour, and it's all very awkward, quite manipulative, and it really puts a dampener on things. But it's not awful. Now, if we were talking about the whole Christmas period, we could factor in the Christmas party that Slughorn throws, right? Or the night at the Burrow they spend listening to Celestina Warbeck, which is quite emotional for some people. So look, all things considered, this Christmas isn't terribly different from the one before. No Sirius is bad, but no hospital is good. We're going to put it in fourth place, but those two could easily just swap. Just editing the video, and it can't go in fourth, can it? Because the Chamber of Secrets is already there. How have I struck? It's 7. Counting to 7 should be easy. So I guess Chamber of Secrets moves down to 5th. Prisoner of Azkaban moves to 6th, so we can squeeze in the Half-Blood Prince there in 4th place. I'm intelligent, I promise. I am an intelligent guy. Usually intelligent people don't have to convince people they're intelligent. Harry's final Christmas of the series is his worst Christmas. Sure, he spends Christmas Eve visiting the place that he spent the first few months of his life living with his parents, seeing the place where they had been laid to rest. It could all be very sentimental and heartwarming. Except that in the closing minutes of Christmas Eve leading into Christmas Day, a snake pretending to be Bathilda Bagshot tries to eat him and his wand breaks. And he relived the murder of his parents from Voldemort's perspective, got violently ill while he was unconscious, so Christmas he just gets to stew in all of that, while Hermione catches up on some rest. And to finish off a good day, he reads some of Rita Skeeter's book about Dumbledore and how he and Grindelwald wanted to rule Muggles by force. And Harry doesn't like hearing about that side of Dumbledore. Oh, and Ron had abandoned them and is yet to return at this point, so it's a pretty terrible Christmas compared to the previous 6 that he had at Hogwarts. Within the next couple of days, he's going to have the dough, the Sword of Gryffindor, destroy the first Horcrux, Ron will come back, all of that good stuff, but at this point, it's pretty terrible. And I'm wondering whether he would prefer this Christmas or another Christmas with the Dursleys, like he used to have before he knew he was a wizard. Anyway, that is the final order of Harry's best to worst Christmases, and if you like this video, you can listen to me rank all of Harry Potter's birthday presents that he gets through the series by clicking on this video next. There are some good gifts in there, but there are also some terrible ones.